Yep.
Kirk's insane wavy sticks. Anybody know what time it is off without having to dig too far?
10 and 10:06.
Oh, well, that's perfect. How long are we going for? 10 to 11:30? Yeah. All right, well, everybody got a stick who wants one? All right. Oh, I'll let you. So we're going to look into this Irish stick fighting a little bit. I'm going to, for some of you guys who know me, I'm going to probably show a little bit different stuff than I have before in the past. So, and for the rest of you, I'll still cover all the absolute basics. So, not too much. There's not too much to it. What you're going to do is take it in your lead hand or your strong hand, right, left, whatever you, right-handed, left-handed. You're going to hold it until just about an inch of it passes your elbow. You put your thumb along the back, the saber grip, and stand with your weapon side forward, toe pointed straight. This is going to come up, and this is going to point directly at your opponent. Don't want to. Here you go. If I want to be like this, it presents a pretty bad target as far as my hand. But if I start doing this, he can hit me in the hand. There's pointless hitting me anywhere else if my hand's the closest thing to him. So I got to make sure that I keep it up high enough. I got to keep it up over my head slightly. It can't be on the side of my head. I'll be lazy and I'll let it drift, and that means I have to go around my head if I'm going to hit that way. So you got to keep it above your head if at all possible. There are times where he might be just left, right, left, right. So you can come down. There you go. Where I might have to keep it down if he goes a little faster. There are times where I'm going to have to maybe keep it there, but I got to keep in mind that my fingers can get demolished. The only, I won't say it's a good thing, but if you get hit in the hand while you're wrapped firmly on this, it's not quite as bad as it could. It's not like getting hit in the hand like that and just having everything, have no support behind it. So, unless he hits you really hard, then I don't want to think about your bones powdering and stuff. So, we're like this, toe pointed, back foot 45 degrees out. You don't want to be on a tightrope. You don't want to be on line like some kinds of fencing, because it's just too hard to move laterally, and you're going to have to do that. So, about 45, just about like a boxer. This hand, your off hand, is going to be up by the side of your head, just in case something gets through it. You know, it's not good to get hit in the arm, but it's better than getting hit in the face with it. So you're keeping that up. Everybody's got that. It's pretty simple. It stays pointed. This is pointed. This is pointed. Pretty much your elbow's pointed. You get people who want to go like this, and that's just too tempting. Get people who go like this. That's too tempting. So basically, my toe's going to point at you, my knee's going to point at you, my lead elbow's going to point at you, this is going to point at you, and the butt of my stick is going to point at you. And I want to keep it high once again, like I said, because I don't want to have to go over my head to hit that stuff. One other reason I want to keep it high is if Kirk comes in, and let's say I say I'm gonna poke him in the face. I want you to block to the inside very lightly. It's gonna hit me in the head. So I gotta keep it high like that. If he does block to the inside, then he helps me actually get We'll stab a little bit later on. But. So everybody take the stance again. Basic footwork, almost exactly like boxing, step and slide. If I want to go forward, I move my foot closest to the direction and slide it up. Go forward again, go backwards, you move your rear foot. You move whatever foot is in the direction you want to go, that's perfect. If I want to go to the outside, I move this foot, slide sideways. I want to go to the inside. Now, it would be nice if we were in a building, just because we'd have 4 walls, or some kind of footwork pattern. But what I like to do when I teach people how to do this footwork, I like to make them move only in an X pattern or a cross pattern at first, with a pivot. And that way, if they stay in that pattern, they at least know they're doing it right. Because people, it's not a bad thing. It's only bad if you don't know you're doing it. People like to drift. And a lot of times I see people, they'll drift towards his weapon so he can hit me a little easier. So you can just sit there and wait for them to, thank you, to get out of position block. So I like to keep everybody straight on these things. Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to do pivot in each direction. So we can go forward, we can go back. We can go to the outside, we can go to the inside. And what I mean by outside and inside, it's your weapon arm. If your weapon's out, the outside. Inside of your body. It goes inside your arm like you can hug it. You can't hug anything on the outside. So, forward, back, outside, inside. Now, if we're all facing this direction, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to pivot, I'm going to keep my lead toe where it is, and I'm going to swing my back leg around, and I'm going to face those woods. Now, I'm going to pivot back, and I'm going to go back to that same position I was in. Right? Now, I'm going to pivot, keep my lead toe where it is, I'm going to pivot, face the pavilion. I'm going to come back to the same position. So basically what I'm doing, get rid of my stick for a minute, I'm doing boxing footwork. No. But for now, I like to keep that on an absolute cross. So if I'm facing this way, I'm not going to pivot for now to that direction. I want to pivot. It's an exaggerated pivot. Make sure I got the motion down before I start modifying it. Because there's times, we'll do footwork in a couple minutes, where you end up going, oh, well, this one step just ain't enough for me to catch up to that guy, or he moves more, his legs are long, my legs are short, right? Just take naturally short steps. So if you can, find somebody to pair up with right now. And come here, Kirk, and this is what we're going to do. Basically, it's just a feed and follow footwork drill. We're going to hold our stance. Me being the feeder, I'm going to go forward. He's going to go back. I go backwards. Right? I'm going to go this way. And the whole time we have to maintain a certain distance. We get too far away, we can't hit each other anymore. It's a lot safer, but if we're in a fight, this isn't, Pleasant Sunday. This is cracking people in the head. It's recreational violence. That's what I like to call it. It's violence for the sake of having violence. So, if I pivot on him, see, I got longer legs than him. He's got to take a little stutter step. There's nothing wrong with that. That's exactly what I was trying to point out. We try to keep on that cross, but there are times that you got to take those little steps. If we're doing this, and I go like that, yeah. If he wanted to, he could take 2 steps in. So take 2 steps. I've way the hell out. So just pair up and try, if possible, to keep this orientation of a cross right now. When you decide to feed, and we'll just go like a minute or so on that.
Yeah, I'll.
And don't move until that person feeds the move.
I'll follow you.
Kirk, you want to do it?
Sure.
Just take it one feed. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. Switch it over? Yeah, I'm switching it.
I think it's the same thing as you, not the reverse. All right, let's try this.
I know. It's that's why you got to make sure you know it's on.
Yeah.
All right, change whoever's feeding. We're not going to spend all that much time on this. So the other person feeds. Also, here's one more point that is true. Here, Kirk. Of course, if we were fighting, and I go like this to Kirk, don't move yet. He's just gonna kill me. So you gotta. It's just a drill to read the footwork. That's all it's for. It's not. Some of the stuff's good back and forth and moving. The whole idea is I don't want him to circle on me. So I want to make sure that I can stay in front of him no matter how he thinks he's going to fake me out. I don't think so. I'm just staying right in front of you. And later, when you get a little more used to the drill, we want to do it about this close, which is pretty awful. You know, especially when we start swinging the sticks, it lasts about 5 seconds before somebody's grabbing the other guy's stick, or grabbing the other guy. So it's in close. It's one of the reasons you do hold it. This you lose all that. But it's an in close thing. It's basically a battlefield. The faction fights in Ireland were battles. Sometimes there were thousands of people on each side. Fighting over a cow unpaid for 40 years ago, or some imagined insult, or whatever.
So Ken, is most of the work done up close like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's times where you do that, but overall, I mean, if there's 1,000 of us on this field, I think if we started going like this, all of us right now, one of us would get cracked in the head. Especially we're moving around and not paying attention. So the whole idea, it's a battlefield, and we're in close and we're fighting, and eventually there may not be room for my stick anymore, so I'm now punching them or wrestling them. And hopefully the English soldiers were just standing there with their guns and letting us kill each other instead of shooting it. Because then we'd attack them. So just do this again with the other person feeding. And just remember, it's just a drill. You're not going to actually put your head in that position. You get it knocked off. Dude, I just
I have just seen Zeke. I thought it was here, look.
Joe, you don't have to win all this stuff.
You're down here, but I can stretch you the side of the head.
Get that thing on my face, sir. I don't care.
I'm used to all of
All right, we're going to add in another element that I won't explain as of yet. I'll tell you about it later. No, I'll explain. When we're moving, especially doing the footwork, if we're doing the footwork solo now, we don't have to worry about a partner drill right again. A couple minutes. We're gonna do is we're moving in this footwork. This lead leg is gonna come up every once in a while. Basically, toe to your knee. Whether it really gets there or not isn't very important. But you don't just want to go like that. You want to bring it back and forward. So if we're in close and we've got to this point, Kirk's going to do an outside sweep against my leg. All right. That's one of the reasons I'm going to do it. It just gets your foot out of the way. If I just go like this, he can still get me. But as long as I give him this, even if he catches part of it, it's going to slide off my toe. So you keep your toe pointed down. All right? Other reason we're going to do it. We're like this, and well, not even that. But yes, that's something else. We're like this, and my foot keeps coming up. I pop him one. I didn't pop him that time. So I keep him, keep him guessing with that foot. That foot's coming up. Also helps if he's going to kick my foot. All right, if he gets close enough, my knee's gonna hit. It hit his knee, so that's not so bad. But if it hits along his shin, that's pretty bad. You don't want anybody's knee in your shin. So, and also if he goes and swings low at my leg, I want to be able to pull that out of the way. But hopefully it won't just be my leg. Hopefully I'll be able to slip a little bit back with that foot. Something I forgot to tell you before too is on your rear foot, have your heel up. It aids in going forward. It lets you drop this far back just by putting your heel down. So this is going to be important in the boxing tomorrow, being able to just drop your heel. Because that's, a good 6-inch slip that you can do without having to move your body, footwork wise. So everybody just try doing that footwork just alone for a little bit. Every couple steps, just your knee. Alright, looks like everybody's got this. Pretty simple. Not too much to it. Now I'll also add that when I kick, I'm not kicking like anything. I'm not doing any technique. I'm kicking what I used yesterday or the other week was like I see a dog eating a baby, That's what I want to kick with. I don't want to worry about blah blah blah. I just want to get out of there, So the dog's drinking out of the toilet. We'll give it something less than eating a baby. The dog's drinking out of an unflushed toilet. There you go. It's like, get out of there. So it's a pretty urgent thing. So I kick them like that. I'm not worried about, I could go into savate and pop them on the inside of the leg and stuff, but I don't even want to have to think about that. I just want to have my leg pump out and cause him some pain. I'm not going to kick any higher than his groin. So what I want you to do is do that footwork again. Raise your knee up. Every once in a while when you raise that knee up, just pop your leg out. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just don't snap it, because that really don't. Unless you got shoes on, which we're assuming we do, and it's a shin. But I would rather see that than him get a little out. So that's not bad either. But if I got my choice, I'm going to stomp on him. I'm going to stomp sideways, break my foot down onto his instep if I can. I'm not doing anything nice to him. So just try that every once in a while. Lift your leg and just kick your foot out. We'll just do that for about 30 seconds. All right, that's enough of that. Actually go on to swinging the sticks at each other and smashing our hands, which is pretty inevitable. And usually you get your hand smashed because the other guy is afraid to aim at your head. So that little thing of them not aiming here makes them aim usually right where your hand is if you're going to block it. So if at all possible, swing gently, of course, with control, but aim at your target. Don't aim, I'm going to hit him above the head because I don't want him to miss the block. If they miss the block, well, hopefully you're going slow enough that, you know, nobody's going to get sprayed with anything pink or anything. But, you know, I've seen Kirk with nice knots on his head. Courtesy of, there you go. So, first strike I'm going to have us work on, well, we'll just do the strike first, is there. This is going to work as a counterbalance. And if you have any doubt to how hard you can hit like this, you got a stick you don't love?
Yeah, this one.
I'm not gonna-
I don't love this one.
It's not heavy enough though.
Mark has been
break
trying
it.
for years to break this stick.
All right, I don't want to break it. I just want to hit it hard. I want you to hold it for me, though. Hold it high. Well, hold your hands kind of low, and no, hold your hands kind of low. There you go, and hold it like that. I just don't want to accidentally hit your. Hold it with two hands. All right, just so. This is without much preparation at all. It's definitely without any commitment on my part. So there's no doubt that if I'm hitting somebody in the head like that, they're going to feel it. Yeah, I can hit harder like this. But he's going to know that's coming. And if we're that close, I'm not going to be able to do it as soon as I go like this. His stick's already pointed, the butt's pointed at me. He just pops me with it or snaps that out. So, first strike is just going to be this. This hand stays up. If any of you have done any Filipino styles.
Ken, are you relaxing your fingers at all when you do that, or should you be holding pretty tight?
You kind of relax them,
Okay.
but not, you still keep them around it. Hopefully you got your thumb on the back still. Now some sticks are really thick and you can't get your thumb on the back right. But as long as you can get a good grip on the stick. Now if anybody's done any Filipino styles, there's something called abanico, which means fan. So it's like, you hit them here and you hit them there, and you do those kind of things to them. So it just means fan, but the motion is very similar. So this strike's pretty simple. The next one we do is to the opposite side of the hand. So they follow each other pretty nicely. 1, 2. Next two we're going to do are going to be to the flank, the elbow, anything mid-level. Hip bone, if you've got a nice hip bone shot, Some sticks it won't matter. This one will hurt bad. He's got a nice bit of heft there. You don't want to get hit with the end of that. So we got to the head, the other side of the head, you go low. Now you got to be careful you don't go like this. You got to make it so that the butt of the stick's going up. And you want to launch it from this position. If I'm holding my stick down here, you're almost guaranteed that I'm not hitting you over there. If I'm holding it here, I got any of these options. You're not sure which way it's going to go. So, your third strike up. 1, 2, 3. 4 is going to be the opposite side. So, you're up top, you're in the middle. Of course, it only stands to reason that the next ones are low. But every time you use them, you run the risk of getting your skull caved. So there are times when you can do it, but there are an awful lot of times when you won't. If we're here, and he's got his stick in his high position, and I go like this, bam. It definitely wouldn't be the first thing I do to somebody unless, I thought they were completely incompetent. And then I still wouldn't do it. I'd do something else. So the low strikes, they have their time, but for the most part, when we're standing that close, and if I'm crazy enough to lower my stick too far, I might just eat one. Overall, I would say hit him in the head. It's nice to hit him in the elbows and the hands, but anytime you lower it to go too low, you're opening that up. If I'm hitting high, you can see I'm still guarding my head pretty much the whole time. In fact, we had these padded sticks, like these. It's PVC with padding. It's not heavy. It's not hard. Yeah. Well, I was, one of my friends Dave was over, and we were sparring with him. We thought we'd go fairly light. We wouldn't put on any headgear or anything. And he decided he'd hit me here as I hit him. And he hit this, and it opened him up about 2 inches over his eye. And he just staggered, and he's like wobbling. I thought he was faking it. It's PVC with foam on it. It's got nothing behind it. But with him hitting that butt, oh my God. He had to go right to the hospital, and he's got a nice big old scar there. And Kirk did it too. Kirk got one just like it.
Courtesy of Mark Rainey again.
So, that adds an incredible amount when it hits this thing. So we got those 6 strikes. We're going to add one more. Bam, right straight down. Which is, of course, probably the one I'd use if anybody decided to hit me low. The stick's already, boom, ready to go. I just hit him as hard as I can. So, we're going to work on just the first 2 blocks with the butt. We can always block with this part. There's nothing wrong with that. I prefer to block with this part because I get that strike. So if he swings this way and I block here, I am set. It's a little hard to spar because you end up hitting really hard. But we'll just work on the stopping the blow for now. He comes this way. He comes this way. All right, we'll just work on those 2. Coming here, create an angle. I'm not going like this, because then I don't want it to blow through. I'm not going too far. I don't want it sliding up my hand. Just kind of taking. I want to hit it too. He comes this way. So I'm going like this and like this. One of also the reasons I want to keep my elbows in. This is covering my elbows getting hit. Pretty much covers everything up top, except for straight down, but we'll worry about that. Okay. So if I throw these at Kirk, so he's catching with the butt. He doesn't have much butt showing through, so that's his preference. Some historical sources say about 1/3 of the way up from the butt. I go maybe between the third and a half for my own, but I would imagine it depends on the length of the stick, the length of your arm, everything else. So you got to have enough where you can block with down here. And something else that while you're holding it like this, they used to keep the blackthorns, had thorns on them. They were a lot like hawthorn thorns. A little bit stouter though, they weren't quite as flimsy. And they used to keep from here to the hand grip fully thorned up. Keep that, you don't want anybody being able to grab the business end of your stick. This part, yeah, you can get rid of those because it's there. So we're fighting, and he grabs my stick while he's holding by the thorns, and I'm ripping it out of his hand. He blocks. I take this, and I'm going to try to rake him with that rough. That one still may be a little rough. You can feel that it at one time had like the Taurus grate. But that one's ripped my hands open. In fact, about 2 months ago, we're going and me and Justin were going and we pulled on it, and one of those nubs of a thorn just drove right in. It went far. I think it went to the bone, but it was bleeding so bad I couldn't catch it. Kind of dug a trench. So, grab a partner and aim those two head shots, blocking that way. Basically just a little pyramid around your head that you're blocking. Butt of your stick's already pointed that way, so it's not big.
Don't be afraid. Aim for his head, just lightly. Let me step in for a second. Keep it up. Keep it in front. Just sweep it in front. A little bit more down across, almost like a wiper. Yeah, if you come up there, it's going to travel up and hit your hand. Yeah. So keep it here, and then just sweep it across. Then turn it on this side. Yeah.
Now you guys can switch who's hitting if you haven't already. If you're still working on getting it, you do it as long as you need to. Try to make sure you got enough of the butt end of the stick sticking out for you. Go back and touch it every once in a while. And the idea, it's more of a deflection than a true static. Try to hold it out. All right, you guys got it. Go to the middle one.
Okay.
It's the same idea.
All right.
And we're actually hitting. Where it comes next to your arm there, and you keep it up with
It depends on how far away. Far away, do that. Close, you kind of go under. You just got to get the right. All right, you guys getting that? Try the middle strikes. Basically, the blocks are the same way. You just drop it down to where it's got to be. Very easy. I hate him.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Ken hates him, Mark hates him. I'm the only one that likes bicycles.
All right, switch feet if you haven't switched. Who's smacking the other guy? Nice now.
Oh, it's beautiful. I'm glad I put on the sunblock.
I don't have that problem yet. Not once yet. I was pretty lucky.
Well, you know, I'm like terminally white. I can't dance, and
And
it's not
orange.
even threatens at me.
Oranges for some reason.
No exposed skin, that's the secret.
Yeah. I'm nothing but skin.
All right, you guys had enough of this, and we'll move on to another one here? All right, we're going to work on these low blocks. They're a little iffy. Don't particularly like them that much because I'd rather just hit the person. But there are times where, well, my stick might be down here. I might have hit him, and he goes low. So just in keeping with the same theme that we had with these upper ones, we're going to block these low ones with the butt. There's other ways to handle them, but we're just going to do that right now. We won't spend a lot of time on this stuff. Because hopefully if somebody's hitting at your leg when you're standing there with your stick up, you're just going to hit them anyway. Or your leg back. What's that?
My question, when you're blocking outside or low, are you still keeping your hand up above, or are you trying to keep underneath it?
You're trying to make sure you get the angle that's coming in. If it was coming down on this angle, yeah, you're going to have to go underneath it. As long as it's coming in this way, it depends on the angle. You're going to block whatever the angle calls. Okay, if I'm striking low like this, you're going to want to do that. If I'm striking low like this, you're going to want to do that.
Okay.
Now, you don't have a clock. You have one on your thing.
I probably do, but it may
Yeah.
it may not be accurate. There is a clock, but I can't read it in this light. Okay, it thinks it's 10:15. Whether or not that's accurate,
All right, switch who's feeding in case I haven't already said it, and if I already said it, let's do something else. Did I already say it?
actually that
All
can't be
right.
accurate.
That's fine.
It can't be accurate. It thinks it's 10:15. That can't be.
It was 10:06 when we started.
Okay. I just want to not run over. All right, let's do something else here real quick. So when Kirk comes out here, we can do, we'll do the 1 for 1. He's going to feed me a strike. I'm going to give it back to him. He's going to move me around in footwork now. We've taken that first drill that we already did. Now, and then when he's ready, he's going to strike me. He ain't going to try to trick me and club me or anything right now. We're just working cooperative at this point. So, all right, now, I want him to keep it separate. So he's going to do bam, bam, move me around in some footwork. Bam, bam, move me around in some footwork. Bam, bam. So. And you can throw other strikes in. So just get with your partner again. We just have one person feed. We do that about a minute, then we'll switch over.
Oh, sorry, you're supposed to move it. Oh, okay.
Okay, let's switch who's doing the feeding and who's doing the following.
Not quite matching up.
Oh, look at those two evil left-handers. I knew there was something wrong with them. I kept looking at you guys going,
There's an even number of us, though. So if you
Let's
put yourself
let's get them on tape for a second. I
just keep hitting you and me.
Hey, Mark doesn't get to work with lefties that often.
all right, we got about 15 more seconds of this, and then we'll...
David's on to trapping now. What is it, yeah?
Okay, well... So how many people got hit in the hand during that thing? Yeah, a lot of people. That's normal. That's, you know, it's definitely not an activity for people who don't like to get hurt. You know, you gotta like it a little bit, and not too much, but somewhat.
Years of Catholic schools with the nuns.
Well, that'll do it, yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, you get used to it. I remember when I'd watch boxers, when I first started boxing, I'd get hit in the nose, and I'd say, how can they stand it? You know, you watch boxing, like, bam, bam, bam. They get hit in the nose, and you think, there's no way I'm going to ever be able to take punches in the face, even with gloves on. But after a while, you get punched in the face enough, there's a reason I look like this. And I don't think it hurts any less at any time. You just get used to it. And the example I use, and people laugh at me, is if, well, that's for different. I remembered something else. If you go like this to a baby's arm, they cry. But did that hurt them any more than it's hurting me? Maybe a little bit. They're more sensitive. But I hit myself a lot harder without freaking out. You know, you get tougher. That's all there is to it. Anybody's done Wing Chun? Well, in Wing Chun, you do an awful lot of, just put your hand up, awful lot of these slaps like that to the arm. And after 20 minutes of that, you start getting the blood blisters on your arm. And, you know, all the new people are freaking out. They're like, my arm hurts so bad I can't even hold it up. Eventually, you still get those blood blisters, but you don't freak out anymore over it, but it still hurts. I did Muay Thai for a long time. My shins, they could, you know, I'd walk into a coffee table and like bang, like that, and I'd look down, my shins bleed, and I'm like, oh, that hurt. But I was usually getting hit in my shins, so it wasn't so bad. Get used to it. But hopefully nobody has to get used to getting hit in the head with a stick, because that's why it's important. And I will ramble forever if you let me, so it's a good thing that I'm not. So. The important thing with this, those blocks and the strikes, that's really about it. That's a good 80% of everything. Yeah, he can strike here, and I can block here. There's nothing he can strike here, and I can block down. He can come here, and I can block down. So I can do all those things. You guys have probably already done it in single stick. You're going to do it in the broadsword, and in silver, and probably in Fortitsu some, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you're already familiar with most of that stuff. And if you're not, you're going to see it again. But I will show you a couple things out of what we'll call the hanging guard, for lack of an actual Irish name for it. He's going to strike here. I'm going to come here. Now, I'm going to either hit him or stab him with the butt of the stick. So it's going to go here. And depending on the angle I got, Now, if his hand's here in front of me, he's going to cause me to come around. If his hand's here, he's going to make me come forward. From there, I'm going to want to stab down, and then we go from there. But the whole idea is that he hits me. That punch didn't seem right then, so I hit him with the buttons. I suppose maybe if I didn't hate him, I might punch him, which is an odd thing to say. Compared to that, to the face, a punch is pretty mild, especially if I'm using like the one Alan has with the metal tip. Would it go in? I don't know. Does it have to? It's gonna hurt. So all you're gonna do, your stick's already like this. You're halfway. It's almost like you're blocking this side. He swings here, depending on the angle, and he's right in the middle every time. He's not here. He's not there. I may just forego it and hit him there. You just got to be very gentle with that. It's easy to misjudge the distance when you're stabbing with this stick that you're holding in the middle, and you're like, you're even supposed to hold a stick like this. So it feels a little awkward. So it's hard to judge the distance. So one more time, I'll let Kirk do it to me. This time I'll swing at him. There you go. He can catch my hand. He can wrap around, depending, where he winds up. How long my arms are, how long his arms are.
Everyone's got longer arms than I do.
Well, it might work out for you. That's good in close. You never cramp. So, strike at him. He can wrap it. Okay. So just try that. If you got a clean shot, especially it's right down the middle, drive it in. You're going to want to, we'll deal with this definitely more tomorrow. You want to have your fist vertical. Yeah, at least for the straight. If you can take a little bit of a step, you want to have that vertical. If you can only work on pivot, you're going to want to turn it over. And rather than pivoting like a modern boxer so much, you're going to want to take this shoulder. It's called a shoulder whirl. You're going to want to take this shoulder and have this be the driving force behind this one. So you're going to want to. Your waist is still involved in the action, but it's not so much a waist punch more than a shoulder whirl. And it works good with the hook, but you're going to have to probably loop that a little bit to get it in, depending where their arm is. And if their arm is just completely in the way, you get them with the butt and say, they may be bleeding, and you can say, listen, you shouldn't have had your arm in. I would have punched you. So, just get with your partner and try that a couple times. Try it a couple times each.
Let's take this one slowly.
Yeah, if you got questions, just ask. There's a couple people floating around.
And then
You're going to want to block it like this, though. Yeah.
He'd strike to the inside.
Here, down diagonal. Here.
You want me to do both sides, or is it just from one side?
Kind of a roof guard. Okay. Here. So, bam. And then you can pow. Bam. Bring it. Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
we're not even close.
Here, let me get in closer so you can punch me better.
You may have to, if your size differences are enough, you may have to bring it in. If I'm really short compared to you, and you bring it over here, so go ahead and get over here. No, you. Hit me right here, with your stick. I may have to step in. If I'm really, really short, I'm going to have to step in to get you. If you're shorter than the other guy, use your body to step in. Get inside the power strike if you can.
This is also important that you're fairly close when you do this, or you're not going to be able to punch it.
Yeah. So he's striking
Of
here,
course, I'm not
and you're
saying
blocking
to you
there.
first off.
Yeah. What would happen there is if I did that.
Now step towards You're not using that. Okay.
Spot punching.
Do it again. Do it again. Do it again, Zach.
I can. These must be brothers. They really want to hit each other.
Yeah. They'd love to, except for it'll change.
Yeah. Well.
That's why I'm here. So I know it's gotcha. Now, wrong all the-
You need to strike it at his head from that angle. So if you strike it, what you want to do is you're either going to come down at an angle or come across straight, just horizontally. So over here might be. Over here might be. Over here might be. The Dog Brothers have a great drill for this. It's amazing. So that's where you're hitting. You're aiming at the side of his head, and you're just going to block it. You're going from here to there. That's it. And yeah, step in and crush him. There you go. This isn't one you can step away from. You can't step away from the block.
Put your shoes up normal, bro. Put it up like where it's started. Okay, now, Zach, you're anticipating.
Sooner or later, we'll have
Yes,
to.
that's one. That's it right there. You block it, and you can punch around or punch under.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And with a lot of this, when I do it,
So you go for him.
I enjoy crowding that other guy. So if he strikes at me, I like getting close to him. If I'm comfortable here, I guarantee most people aren't. Everybody wants to be back here, or better yet, back here. So I may be in deep trouble if he's that far away from me with something pointy, but with a stick, maybe I can get hit once or twice without going down. So I want to be in his uncomfortable zone. Of course, now if everybody was like this, then I would have no advantage up close, because everybody else would like to be that close too. But the idea is, I want to crowd him. Yeah. This whole time,
That's what you need to do, Joe.
if at all possible, I want to be just right on. It makes the strikes not quite as bad when you get hit. You can hit him still, because you're the one causing it. But if he's cramped, it's not as good. Did everybody get that last one?
Yep.
All right, we're going to do, how much time we got? All right, excellent. We're going to do a choke off this now. We're going to do it off that same strike. Right? I'm blocking it like I did the first time. This is coming around. Now, depending where my stick winds up, how tall he is part of it too. If he's tall, my stick ain't going to be over here. My stick is going to probably bottom out right there. I'm going to take and grab it. Now, I'm going to use my neck as a lever. I'm being nice and not putting it against his throat. I'm using my neck as a lever. Now, this should be almost grotesque because we both got shaved heads. I've never rubbed my bald head on anybody else's bald head before. And I don't think I'm going to like it. But if I do, I apologize.
Don't tell me.
All right, this time I go over his head. Well, I want to get a choke on him, but God, I got that anymore. I go like this. All right, and that is just downright awful. Now, I can take this and I can dig it into his neck as I'm going like this, but you almost don't have to. That is just your head so sensitive when that is squeezing in and there's pressure on your neck. Yeah, the pressure not just on the choke points, but the neck. It
Can I
just
see that
don't.
again, guys? I didn't.
Yeah. We'll do it again.
We need more video of it.
All right. My stick goes over. I want to choke. Now maybe I will just go like this. But boy, I like putting my head against maybe their jaw. You can feel the things popping, going through your stall. Oh, I just think I better quit squeezing. So, now my stick lines up here. Oh, maybe I hit him. That's great. Bam. You just got to be careful that you don't crush your partner's windpipe doing it, because there's not a whole lot of give on your throat with a stick. The initial first move is the most important. We'll just work on that right now. Strike. I do that. I go like that. And there's plenty of things we can do from here. But just as an example, just everything falls into place when you can get that little hook thing going. So, idea is that, just hit him. If I swing at him, there you go. So just practice that initial entry in, and then we'll add the chokes in. And it looks like everybody has that. It shouldn't be too hard.
No, it's from fly. I go like that. So.
Yeah, then there's all kinds of stuff.
You need to strike at his head, and you can't do this. Okay. Go gentle, go light, but give it at his head. Block here. Block. And then you just swirl it over. Yeah. 'Cause all you're doing here is you're sweeping it and then
Now, the problem I have with this
sweeping it.
is that it's a reaction. And it's a little hard to do. It's hard to react to something. If I can cause this to happen, well, that's much better. But it's not quite as easy. So, to work on this as a reaction instead, what I'm going to do to Kirk is I'm going to swing a block that I'm going to swing a strike that I know he's going to block. Alright? And then do it. Give him a crappy strike that he can block. And just throwing garbage out to him. It doesn't even have to.
You're attacking, you need to attack to his inside.
And if I don't make the right initial contact, it's still going to be halfway there.
Grab under, there you go.
So there's two ways of doing it. For now, let's just work on that defensive way, and then we'll go into something else with it once we get the chokes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just do it a couple more minutes, and we'll go into at least one choke.
You guys need to work close. Because you need to be in range to hit each other in the head. I want you to down just a little bit, yeah.
Sorry. All right.
What? That tells you where to hold. Because you're aiming for the head here. You want to hit him. If you're not hitting him, you're just kind of fanning at it and he's going to ignore you, right? If you're back here, I'm going to hurt you. You're going to go, look at the goob.
I know how that is. You just all the time.
So the threat has to be real in order to be a threat, right? You wouldn't expect the schoolyard bully is going to beat people up, but you wouldn't expect the guy wearing a 3-year-old to beat someone up. It has to be a credible threat, so it has to be a credible strike. But it can be gentle because they're going to try it. Right here. So just make sure your strikes are
He has to parry with his butt, but then I bring my butt up over his wrist.
Yeah, and see, you have the natural reaction. Get away! That's the natural reaction. That's everything. That's my reaction. What I want you to do is know that this is coming here and just span up and block. See how this is making a triangle here? Make that triangle, and then you can flip it over. Hey, what is it? He's got momentum coming this way, so just use momentum. Yeah, you can do all kinds of things.
When you're doing this position, what I did is I would drive your legs, your nose.
And that's why you hold it when you're tired. Okay, switch. Have you switched yet? Okay, well, that's fine then. Carry on.
All right, we'll work on the mechanics of the choke here real quick.
This sounds painful.
Yeah, it will be. So he's striking at me. Boom, I'm going to go over for this one because I really think I like this one. I'm going to grab, stick, pin. I like using the head, but he's a little shorter than me, so I might as well use my shoulder. Don't take much. The idea is you're doing that same motion you're already doing. Bring everything over top. Now maybe he raises his hand up and I can't get it. Body lock. Awful with the stick. You can't have that pressing on your ribs.
Crank that into the short rib.
Yeah. Anyway. Bring it around there. Depends where I can grab the stick. You know, that time it wound up here, I grabbed it like that. Ideally, I want to grab it. Ideally, I want my stick to be pointing this way. Depends on the stick. Where I can dig that root ball into the side of his neck, but chances are it isn't really going to matter. You know, it's like getting shot 50 times or 25. You know. So try that. You got questions, just ask, because I know it looks more confusing than it is. Once you do it, you go, oh, you know, it's pretty simple actually. All right.
You want to do it?
So here, and but not if I don't.
No, okay, well, I was.
Here, let me try first.
Right? Not really, yeah. Yeah, I'm stopping before that.
Well, he had it actually the other way around. Come down on here.
In,
Look at his head that way, you'll snap.
grind that in, or even back here and draw him into the neck if I have a weight band on.